And there were hollow silver screen hanging on the wall. And there were can't tell them apart. Alright, never mind. Alright, so I want to get back into my mom's diary. I'm gonna read it. This is gonna be it. This is gonna be the shot. I took an hour walk around the lake. 9/1/93. Saw a beaver dam and where they dragged limbs to den. Saw one loon fly over. Bill up when I got back. We had breakfast and by 10:45 left Scenic State Park and traveled down 141 miles to Father Hennepin State, which is next to Millie Lac Lake. The road down was terrible. In fact, most Minnesota roads are terrible. Also, the wind was strong. Bill had to fight the wheel all the way. The lake is huge and the wind was making high waves. Lots of white caps. We are parked next to lake. The lake is calm in this area. Had supper. Bill beat me in cards again. Millie Lays Lake is 207 square miles. Had a great day today. Drove to Little Falls, 9/2/93, through beautiful dairy country to see Charles Lindbergh Jr.'s boyhood home and museum. Really enjoyed the place. His dad built a 13-room, 3-story house on the banks of the Mississippi River in 1901 for the family. 4 years later, it burned when Charles was 3. After that, there was a summer home built on same foundation. It has been restored. Things rescued from first house are inside. Museum tells all about his life. Girl told us a lot of stories about Lindbergh. Down the road was Charles A. Weyerhaeuser Museum, built as buildings were built in olden days. Lots of antiques inside. The trip over was beautiful. Country better than up north. When we got back, a storm was brewing. The lake was rough, and waves dashing against shore. Looked a lot like ocean. Rained a little. Last night, during the night, there was a heavy thunderstorm. We got back about 5 p.m. We decided where we're going tomorrow. Bill getting tired of looking for campgrounds. I think he's ready to get home. 9/3/93. Sun shining when we got up. Left camp about 9:30. Windy, but later wind ceased. Made a mistake and went out of our way. We drove across St. Croix River to Wisconsin. Dairy farms and lots of corn greeted us in Wisconsin. Also some soybeans. Drove to small park at Bruce called Bruce Park. It's a municipal park and free. We put a $2 donation for electric in slot. Got here at 2 p.m. Bill took a walk into town. Not much. Store and a couple of banks. A couple came in and pitched tent. I talked to them. They said there would be about 40 people coming up from Minneapolis. They do it each year. Bill and I discovered TV works good here, so watched tonight. Been a long time since we've seen TV. I started a letter to Sister and Charlie. Saw lots of goldenrod today along the roads. 9/4/93. Took off at 8:45 this morning. Bill didn't have a very good night's sleep because the people in the camp were partying until about 2 a.m. I didn't hear a thing. We went east on 8 to Prentice and then 13 to Bayview. Tried 2 country parks. Both were terrible, not level. Headed on above Bayview to Russell. Went northwest on County K Road about 8 miles. Very rough to find Russell Campground. Nice camp with electric, though expensive. Got to camp at 2 o'clock. I walked around a little. We're across from National Park, but camp not owned by them. Too bad we would have gotten a break on fee. We can see Lake Superior. Beautiful. The town of Bayview has many mansions made of brownstone. The locality is where the limestone was found and made into brownstone and used on many homes in New York City and Chicago. Tonight was windy and cold. Bill and I played cards. I won again. She had won before a while. This area has many sugar maples, and we see signs selling maple sugar often. We stayed at Sand Point Bay area of Apostle Islands National Lakeshore. There are 22 islands offshore. Shore is 12 miles, very wild and beautiful. The leaves are just starting to change. The air is so clear. Took picture of Lake Superior and deck 9593, and we're off soon for Cable, Wisconsin. We drove the rest of 13 along Lake Superior, through forest and through small towns. Beautiful, reminds me of driving through PA mountains. Pretty quiet. We took Route 2 east and 63 south to Cable. Asked at a welcome station about dumping our sewage. Lady sent us up a back crooked narrow road to Twin Lakes Campground. Paid $3 to dump, though it wasn't worth it. Not much water to rinse out. Went back the other way through Dumond, back down 63 to Cable and to Telemark Resort, where we checked into condo. It's a small unit, not as plush as some we have been in. However, they do have a small airport for their guests. We got unpacked and had a nice supper, watched TV. Labor Day, 9/6/1993. Had a very restful sleep. Very quiet here. As Bill said, no planes, no trains, and no noisy people partying. Had breakfast and then walked around this resort. Saw some planes come in and go out. People playing golf and riding horses. We have a little screened-in porch to sit on. Nice. Called Kathy. Nothing new there. Called Sister and Charlie. They are fine. 9/7/93. Today we took a ride down to Hayward, 17 miles, and then on to Al Capone's hideout, 17 miles, which is in the backwoods. He hid out from the other gangs. Quite a nice place next to a small lake called Cranberry Lake. Everything is still in place as it was in the 20s. He also had a small jail and a lookout tower where a gunman was at lookout at all times. Had a small barn which is still there and a still. On the way back to Telemark, we took a different route. Had lunch at clam lake in a small country tavern. A thunderstorm came up, so it was raining on the way back. The mirror passenger side on the motorhome fell off. Thank goodness it fell off while I was getting in and didn't break. 9/8/93. Today we drove down to Hayward to find someone to weld mirror bracket together. After 3 tries, found a complete welding place. Then found a laundromat, and I did 3 loads of clothes. Bill found a bakery, so we had donuts and coffee while the clothes dried. Then we took a different route back to Telemark. Next, nothing much in this area but trees and lakes, and once in a while a few farms. The trees are a variety. Must be lovely in the fall. I didn't feel very well tonight, so went to bed at 8 p.m. Bill is enjoying TV. 9/9/93. I got up at 7 o'clock. Looks as though a large animal TP'd the dumpster partly over, tipped the dumpster partly over, and pulled trash out of it. We had a thunderstorm in night. One clap woke Bill and I up. Gloomy today. Sun and rain off and on all day. We stayed in and watched TV all day. Watched movie after movie. Can't believe it. But that's how it was. I went to bed at 10 p.m. Bill later. Today we took a circle drive. 9/10/93. South, east, and north back to Cable. Lots more trees, but also through some beautiful dairy country. Had lunch at Hardee's along the way. Weather cool. Drove 293 miles. And that is the end of the diary book here. And I guess there may be another one. There's some loose pages here that are written and are a bit smaller, but I guess they definitely go with this. So we have Saturday 9/11/93. Weather not too nice today. Rained a lot tonight. Cool during day. We decided to get ready to leave tomorrow. Went to laundromat and washed what dirty clothes we had. Gassed up the rig. Took ride to see Germish. I'm not sure if that says Germish or Amish resort about 7 miles from Telemark. It's nice. A Bavarian rest on Lake Nanakugon. Buildings look old but unique. Very pretty setting. Packed some things in motorhome. Watched TV. Sunday 9/12/93. Got ready and checked out at Telemark at 9 a.m. Drove 259 miles to Christmas, Michigan, where we camped in a national forest. Today we drove through beautiful forest and sometimes next to Lake Superior. We're camped next to Lake Superior. The weather was beautiful and in 70s for a change. I walked around the camp. Such a lovely, quiet camp. Bill and I played cards after supper. He won with the last hand. Today we changed to Eastern Daylight Time, so lost an hour. Monday 9/3/93. I was up at 8 a.m. Change in time threw me off again. Nice to know there won't be another change until we change back to standard time. Glad it was warm last night because our heater isn't working. We drove out to see Picture Rocks and Miners Castle along Superior, outside of Munsing, or Munsing. Sorry. Very beautiful and interesting, even though the weather wasn't perfect. Drove to Sayville Street, Marie, Saville, St. Marie, Michigan, and got there at 4 p.m. Hit a heavy thunderstorm on the way. Our motorhome roof is leaking. Guess the rough roads are hard on the seams. When we got to 500 Locks Campground, their one camp was full, so they sent us down a mile to another. I told the man, John, who checked me in, about Ogburn having his heart attack there, and he remembered the incident. Also remembered Eastburn and Bill. He came out to say hi to Bill. We are camped. Right next to the St. Mary's River. Can watch freighters and boats go up and down river. Discovered a couple bad leaks in motorhome. Had to soak up water with towels. Bill and I took a walk around camp. Talked to a couple fishermen. Played cards. I won for a change. 9/14/93. Still raining, off and on. Fun watching the ducks on the river. They float along and then dive under the water for food. At 10 o'clock we left for Tower of History Museum. Would have been nice if it had been sunny and warm. The elevator takes you up to top and you can see the whole town and locks. But it was raining and cool. Went to see locks and watched a freighter go through the locks. So fascinating. Had lunch at the gallery across from Locks. Or I guess that's what it said. Food okay, but service terrible. In fact, we were in there 15 minutes and no one came to table. So we walked out. Went to see movie at Visitor Center. Good movie about the locks. Then went back to restaurant. Still took a long time to get food. Only one waitress for a whole room of people. Went to museum, Ship Valley Camp. The ship was built in 1917 and contains the largest maritime museum in Great Lakes region. Very nice. From top had a great view of freighters on river. One was going up and receiving supplies from a small boat. It never stopped, just towed the small boat along as supplies were put on. Another freighter went down. Could tell which was loaded and which empty, but how far down in the water each was. We got to camp at 5 o'clock, next to St. Mary's again. We're surprised at how long the freighters are. Still raining and motorhome leaking like a sieve. Sure hope the rain stops soon. Bill quite upset about the leaks. Page 3 coming up. I got up and walked down to bathrooms, 9/15/93, to take a shower. Someone told me it was 41 degrees this AM. When we got up, the skies were clearing, but cold wind. We got off at 10 o'clock. Stopped at Walmart store for film and cigs. Left Galt St. Mary by 11 o'clock. Traveled down I-75 through forests, stopping at 2 rest stops. Down to Bay City, where we got off and went east on 25. Arrived at Druella and Mike Pizarik's about 5 p.m. I have been writing to them for 10 years. They saw Greg's name in Farm Journal and wrote to him thinking maybe both Pizarik families were related. Lovely people. They grow soybeans, wheat, navy beans, and corn. They rent 1,000 acres and own 1,000 acres. Mike is in business with his two brothers who are unmarried and live with their elderly parents. All the family looks healthy. Mike and Drusilla have two children, Mark 14 and Michelle 16, both very sports minded. Drusilla was originally from PA, born in Philadelphia and lived near Scranton Lake. Later, she made us a delicious dinner. Meatballs, mashed potatoes, string beans, coleslaw, tomatoes, and delicious pie for dessert. Then Mike took us out to see their machinery. Huge tractors, everything huge and immaculate. They have two barns full of machinery, a repair shop, and grain dryers and bins. The farm is something to see. Green, mowed grass everywhere. Nice, clean-looking white house. Part of the house is 100 years old. They added to it. After we toured the place, Mike's parents came with Mike's two brothers. We had a great visit and took pictures. Mike insisted we be hooked up to electricity. We went into motorhome about 10 p.m., surprised at all the cars going by on road. Just a country road, but lots of people live on it. Goes from Bay City to coast. The land around here looks wonderful, fairly flat and rich soil. They are having a good year. Drusilla works as a teacher aide at the school. We really enjoyed talking to all of them. Quiet here, except for cars going by. 9/16/93. I was awake early, 5 o'clock or so. Finally got up at 6. At 7:30 I went into the Pizarik's house. Drusilla had breakfast ready. She had made blueberry muffins. I decided to give her the Randolph By picture print, which I bought in California at a garage sale. Drusilla was born in Germantown, PA, and lived near Honesdale, PA, until she was married. She has a great fondness for PA. The picture was painted in Bucks County. She seemed happy, said it reminded her of house they used to live in, with porch. Bill came in house before Drusilla left for her school job. We talked to Mike, then he took us on a ride around the country to see his crops. Cass City and an 8-sided barn on a place where he used to live from 57 to 62. The place is owned by the county and they are letting the barn and house go. The house is a 7-bedroom house. The barn is very unique. When we got back to his house, his brothers were there. We had a chat with the three before we left. Left at 11:30, went out Bay City Forest Road to Route 25 along Lake Huron. Had lunch at a rest stop overlooking Lake Huron. Could see ships. Drove on down to Port Huron. Picked up 69 East and then down 23 to Toledo, Ohio, where we picked up 75 South to Ohio State Park at Van Buren. Got to park at 6 o'clock. Made meatloaf and potatoes. Mike gave us tomatoes, cucumbers, and peppers. We had some for supper. Dropped a little rain, but the day was mostly pretty nice. Can't see as much when you travel interstates. Very nerve-wracking. It's getting more crowded with traffic. We know we're back east. Friday, 9/17/93. Up at 7:30. Left camp at 9 o'clock. I called Theo and Myron before we left. We had a lovely ride down and across Ohio to Cambridge, where we had an appointment with Salt Fork Resort. They have bought into a resort at Port Clinton, Ohio. If we bought into that, we would have option to sell through Salt Fork at a later date. Otherwise, we can't sell through them and we'll have to sell ourselves, which is about impossible, or it will go to our children. It's really a racket. Same with our timeshare. We went on to Theo and Myron's on way through Barnesville. We stopped at laundromat and did our laundry. We had so many wet towels from leak. Theo saw our motorhome at laundromat and stopped to visit. We got to their house at 5 o'clock. We had a delicious supper and visited until 11 p.m. Today was a fairly nice day. Warm, partly sunny. The trip through Ohio was beautiful, through farm, country, and beautiful hills. Saturday, 9/18/93. Rock was 28 today. Talked to him a couple minutes. He was on his way to work. We were up at 7 a.m. Myron knocked on door with a cup of coffee for Bill. I went over and Theo, Myron, and I were talking when Bill came in. I washed my hair and took a bath. Felt great. About 9:30, the four of us headed for Wheeling, West Virginia. We went on the Valley Voyager paddle boat up the Ohio River. We had lunch on the boat. Good buffet. Very nice. A lot of fun. Took lots of pictures. Afterward, Myron drove us to Oglebay Garden Park. Was an estate at one time. Beautiful gardens, fountains, golf course, etc. The golf course is up and down hills. Very hard course. Beautiful place. Took Route 40 back to Barnesville. Pretty through country that used to be strip mining, but has been reclaimed into grass. Up and down hills. Also stopped at Mediterranean Club, which is on top of a hill and was a club. A man has bought it and is turning it into a restaurant and flea market. It will be open at the end of the week. Going to be beautiful. The view is beautiful from up there. Got back at 4:30. Theo and I made another delicious dinner. We sat and watched TV. Bill and I went to motorhome about 9:30 p.m. 9/19/93. Quiet Sunday. We visited all day. Theo made nice meals. She's an excellent cook. I helped by washing dishes. Watched TV in evening. Monday, 9/20/93. Oh, yeah, there's some more here, right? Nope. That's it. So, there's probably more of this somewhere, but that's it for today. This is number 15, I think. So, cool beans. Bye. See you later. Have a wonderful day. Thank you.